Project MUSE is this nice little literature and humanities database that often doesn't get a whole lot of attention, and usually the best way to search it is to search the Discover at MU search, and that will pull up some results from Project MUSE. But you can also search it as its own database, and actually right now is a very good time to do that because it's got more content in it than it usually has. Through June the 30th, they have done a lot of kind of deals with publishers so that the publishers are temporarily opening up their content during this COVID-19 outbreak. And, who knows, if the outbreak continues, perhaps they will extend the time range on this extra access. But as long as we have it, I'll go ahead and show you a little bit about how to use the database. First of all, you have to find it. On the library homepage, we go to Looking for a Database. And I'm going to put Project MUSE in here. And the MU icon means just that it's something that we pay for, and it's accessible to MU people with a login. If you're coming from on campus, you won't need to log in, or if you're using the VPN, you won't need to log in. If you're coming from off campus and you're not using VPN, you will need to log in to use Project MUSE with your MU credentials. And this is what it looks like when you first get in. You've got this little search box, or you can choose to use the big search box, but that's just a general full text search, a single line search. By default, you've got a new search here. And they have some things that you can do once you've entered search terms. You can't really check these boxes now until you've already got some search terms in there. So I think I'll actually put a search term in there. So let's say I am interested in women in Islam. And I think I'm actually going to put asterisks after each of those because then it will search for things like women or women's, like apostrophe S. And it'll search Islam, Islamic, Islamist, anything that starts with that term. And I will also, let's say I'm interested in particularly women's experience in worship in Islam, kind of what their in-mosque experience is like. Perhaps I might throw in this. It's a little bit, what I'm looking for might be a little bit hard to pin down with keywords, so I'll keep it kind of broad at first. And I will maybe specify, though, that both women and Islam, the variants on these, be in the title of the article somewhere, or the title of the book. Now that I've got some search terms in there, I can do this important thing. You want to switch it from only content I have access to all content, because actually you have access to a lot of content that is not just what Project MUSE gives you access to. We have hundreds of other databases, and if you make it all content, then you will have a little bridge to get across to the other databases. So that's the first change I'm going to make in the search. That will give me a little bit more results. So I've got 27 results here. That's actually a pretty small number to work with, so I probably don't want to narrow it anymore, but just so that you know, you can always narrow your search results to either books or journals. You can, even if you want to, narrow it by publisher or by book series or by which particular journal or even by author name. In this case, you don't have to narrow by language because it looks like with these keywords, everything that it found is in English. But if you're getting a lot of stuff in languages you don't know, you will have the opportunity here to narrow your results to a language. And you can even kind of narrow to a subject area. So if you're getting a lot of hits that are in a completely different subject area than what you want, you can use this to narrow it. But I find sometimes in Project MUSE doing that can over-narrow it. So I'd use that with caution. But here I've got my 27 results. Notice that I had these two in the title and that one in the content. And here's what I'm seeing. I've got an article in Africa Today. It's got a volume and a number, and it's 23-page article, and it's in sort of, it's a very specific religious text, and that could be very good in one part of the world. And here we've got a review that's probably going to be a book review, and it's in this journal here, Sojourn, and that's also got a volume and an issue and all that stuff. And the difference is this one here, I could download or view it right away in Project MUSE. But this one over here, if I want to see that book review, I can click that Find It at MU link there. And that will take me to at least look and see if we maybe have access to that through some other means. And chances are not bad that we will. So it's often worth following the Find It at MU link if you're really interested in this. That this is only a book review. Now, it could be that if you get a hold of the actual book or ebook, you might want to look at a review in order to sort of see the main points and the main maybe points of contention in that book, and get somebody's take on the book and get kind of a quick Cliff's Notes of the book. And also, if you're looking to see whether you want to get a hold of a book, then reading a review is not a bad thing to do. So that's there. But otherwise, if you're already pretty set on things, then you may or may not want to bother with a book review. Here we have, again, a review, and it's coming from the Journal of the American Academy of Religion, and that journal is published by Oxford University Press. They also publish books, so I had to look for a minute to see if it was a review or a book. Here we've got another article, A Woman's Experience of Islam in Muslim Spain. Yeah, that now, and that's coming out of medieval studies, so that's going to be a medieval religion piece. So depending on your paper, you may or may not be interested in that. And we've got some more up-to-date kind of information, reflections from women activists in Shas and the Islamic movement in Israel. It's a little bit hard to tell whether it's more about their worship experience or whether it's more about their political or activism experience, but only way to find out is to look at it, and it looks like this one you could download. Here's a book that is not part of the free books coming right now through Project MUSE. You would have to do a Find It at MU. And right now the books are kind of locked up in the building, so those are going to be a little bit harder to get a hold of unless we maybe have the ebook through somebody else. So that's a review essay about India, Iran, and Uzbekistan. Now, a review essay is probably a little bit different than a book review. That's probably going to be reviewing a lot of different sources. So, and that's a 10-page article. That's probably worth a good look if you're writing on this topic. And yeah, Women in Islamic Revival in a West African Town. That could be very interesting. And okay, so they're sort of comparing Mary and Fatima and medieval Christianity and Shiite Islam. Could be interesting. That too is a book, though, that they don't have access to. Now, the books that you find in Project MUSE, you should be looking for ones that don't have the lock symbol on it. But you could kind of note down that book exists, and when we have more access to the print books, again, you may be able to get a hold of it better, maybe through interlibrary loan. But when you find articles like this with the lock, then definitely look for them and find it at MU, and chances are pretty good you'll find it through another vendor. Islamic music. Okay, that's getting a little bit more toward the direct worship experience. That is a whole book. Again, that's under the lock, though. Let's see. Oh, there's one that looks like that's a book that is freely available through Princeton University Press, very good press. And so that one is one where if you click on the title, you've got a summary of the book. Maybe, I'm not sure how much of it is about the worship experience, but you can do a search within a book as well, and you can also look at these tables of contents and see. You can always also look at the bibliography and see if there's other things of interest there. Yeah, so you can see there's quite a bit on various aspects of women in Islam. Public life and private spaces, yeah, all of these. Some of them more than others, but all of them look like they could be of some interest to the topic. And again, the ones that are free, you can view them and look at them right away. The articles that are under the lock, you can use the Find It at MU. The books, you can also try a Find It at MU, but you're less likely to find ebooks. So not all of Project MUSE's books are unlocked under this COVID-19 program, but a few of them are, and so it is worth taking a look, and a few you will get a little bit more in the way of journal articles from Project MUSE than you normally would. So that's a quick introduction to Project MUSE, and it might be a good place for you to check out for your research.